So in the last video Bible study we did, we looked at John chapter 9 from verse 1 to verse 9. But now we're looking at verse 10 and beyond. Verse 10. How then were your eyes opened? They asked. 11. He replied, the man they called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see. 12. Where is this man? They asked him. I don't know, he said. 13. They brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. 14. Now the day on which Jesus had made the mud and opened the man's eyes was a Sabbath. 15. Therefore the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He put mud on my eyes, the man replied, and I washed, and now I see. 16. Some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. But others asked, how can a sinner perform such signs? So they were divided. I want to say something clear. The Pharisees were not only evil men, but wicked men. Terribly wicked and very demonic men. Their father was Satan himself. A man who had been born blind all his life. A liability to the society. And then finally that man becomes healed and he can see. The first thing to do is not to rejoice for him, be thankful to God for him, give thanksgiving, offer praises to God. But instead, they asked the man, why would Jesus Christ do this for you on a Sabbath day? So the Sabbath day is more important than somebody's welfare. So the Sabbath day is more important than somebody's joy and happiness. This is to tell you how evil the Pharisees was. Where this is to tell you how demonic these people were. And then some of them said, how can a sinner perform such miracles? So they reduced Christ himself to a mere man, not even a prophet. Because at that time, if they were seeing him like as a prophet, they wouldn't have said he's a sinner. But they reduced him lower than a prophet because of the hate they had for him. And why did the hate come? Because they had already rejected God from the depths of their heart even before Christ had come. Which is very, very terrible. Now, 17. Then they turned again to the blind man. What have you to say about him? It was your eyes he opened. The man replied, he is a prophet. So even the blind man did not even know that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. He did not. And why Jesus Christ gave him the sign and the marker to tell him, go and wash in the pool of Siloam, which means sent. Jesus Christ was saying, go and wash in the pool of Siloam. You understand? For you to know that I am sent by God, since it means sent, for him to put one or two pieces together. Instead, the man did not recognize. He only said he's a prophet. So even the man he healed did not even know that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. 18. They still did not believe that he had been blind and had received his sight until they sent for the man's parents. 19. Is this your son? They asked. Is this the one you say was born blind? How is it that now he can see? 20. We know he is our son, the parents answered, and we know he was born blind. 21. But how he can see now, or who opened his eyes, we do not know. Ask him. He is of age. He will speak for himself. 22. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders who already had decided that anyone who acknowledged that Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. That is why Jesus Christ said the synagogue of devils, the synagogue of Satan. So once you accepted that Jesus was the Messiah, you'll be thrown out of the synagogue. So the first Antichrist was not even after the coming of Christ, was not even after the death and resurrection of Christ. The first Antichrist was the synagogue of Satan. So if you say Jesus Christ is the Messiah that is to come, you'll be kicked out. And why many people do not know this, many people do not recognize this, I want to make this clear in this Bible study. The first Antichrist was not any other religion, was not any other cult. It was the synagogue itself. That's why Jesus Christ called them the synagogue of Satan. Now, 23. That was why his parents said he is of age. Ask him. 24. A second time they summoned the man who had been blind. Give glory to God by telling the truth, they said. We know this man is a sinner. 25. He replied, whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know is I was blind, but now I see. This lessons on that not everybody is going to be happy for you once something good happens to you in your life. When God turns your situation around, many people are not going to be happy with you. This story is a story of life, is a story of how people react in the world when something good happens to somebody. They don't want to see the miracles in your life. They don't want to see that change in your life. They are not happy things are turning and going out well for you. They are happy that you're failing and you're in pit and you're in a problem and you're in a pit of mess. That's how they believe. They don't want to believe that you're well. But I love the attitude of the formerly blind man. He keeps up himself and he says, well, I don't know, but the most important thing is that I can see. Each time they ask him, he puts the miracle before them. He puts the miracle before them. He lets them know that, look, I am well. And that should be all that matters. But the Pharisees did not take it like that. Let's see what they said. 27. He answered, I have told you already and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too? 28. Then they hurled insults at him and said, you are this fellow's disciple. We are disciple of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but as for this fellow, we don't even know where he comes from. Look at it. So he said, why do you keep on asking? Instead of acknowledging the miracles that God has done, well, instead of him to insult them, he puts it to them like this. Why do you keep on asking? Why don't you just acknowledge the good that God has done for me? Do you want to be a disciple? And they're like, oh, so you are the disciple of Jesus. Well, we are not the disciple of Jesus. We are the disciple of Moses. And you know what? That is why you are like this. Oh, you are supporting Jesus Christ. And they said to insult him. But that did not stop there. I'm going to read verse 30. The man answered, now that is remarkable. You don't know where he comes from, yet he opens my eyes. 31. We know that God does not listen to sinners. He listens to the godly person who does his will. And the man said it all. God does not listen to sinners. For a man to perform a healing of the sort, he must not be a sinner, because God cannot listen to sinners. And the formerly blind man, was pointing out something to the Pharisees, but they still did not understand. May we not be like the Pharisees. Amen.